It's about the tenderness and closeness, the intimacy, the fun, the passion, the desire, letting all those things run and lighten the marriage. They give life to the marriage. They put a pep in your step and a smile on your face. That's why I think this is like the part of the marriage that's like the lifeblood. Welcome to the Get Your Marriage On podcast. I'm your host, Dan Purcell, a Christian marriage and intimacy expert and coach. I'm on a mission to help couples have the best sex and most emotionally intimate marriages possible. Our episodes cover topics you've always wondered about and are packed with practical advice designed to help you take your marriage to the next level. Merry Christmas, everyone. I am so excited to be with you today and to share this really exciting podcast episode that I have planned. We've got a lot of great content we're planning for 2024 also. We're doing a big launch for a new program coming out in March. I hope you look forward to that as much as I am. I also have a retreat coming up in March as well. Now, our retreats are really special and they're one of a kind. They're not like any other marriage retreat. This is a true getaway for you and your spouse. Not only do you get quality time together in a luxurious setting in beautiful surroundings, but you also get expert instruction and marriage coaching. And we get to do fun excursions like ATVing in the desert or rappelling in slot canyons near Zion National Park. It's going to be beautiful weather, generally speaking. March is a beautiful time to visit St. George, Utah. Sunshine and warm when the rest of the country is still in the gray yuckiness of winter and hauling snow. So if you and your spouse have not registered yet, I highly, highly, highly recommend you attend the marriage retreat. If you're on the fence and not quite sure, you can go to our website, getyourmarriageon.com, click on Couples Retreat, and view the testimonials of those that have been before. It gives you a really good idea of what things are like. Now, I want to do something special, like a new podcast tradition going forward, and this is how it's going to work. I'm going to read a review that someone left on the podcast, on Apple Podcasts, and if your review gets read, you email support@getyourmarriageon.com and we will mail you a special prize. Now, the best way you can share the podcast with others is to leave a review. So open up your Apple Podcasts app and go to Get Your Marriage On and hit the 5-star button and leave a little review. And that's a great way to let others know this is a fantastic quality podcast to listen to. Here's this review that we got last week, and it says, I have had the privilege of learning from Dan for a while now, and he is the real deal. He leads and teaches with integrity and has the biggest heart. I, for one, am grateful for his work in the world, and in particular for this awesome podcast. Thanks, Dan. Well, thank you for that nice review. So if that was yours, email support@getyourmarriageon.com and we'll send you a prize. Now today, I want to talk to you about 12 sexy Christmas ideas. For a lot of couples, Christmas is a really stressful time of the year. There's a lot of end-of-year projects for work, with school, completing some projects before the end of the year, in business, in closing out the financial year. There's also gift shopping. There's the preparations for guests and meals and Christmas cards and dinners and parties, and the list just keeps going on and on and on. And if you have children, it just multiplies the complexity by every child that you have in your home, right? But Christmas can also be a very special, sexy time of year. Think about it. Think of all the Hallmark movies that we love, the Christmas-themed movies. Think about the time you get to snuggle by a fire. Think about the fun that you can have with your spouse when the world kind of slows down for a little bit. It can become a very sexy time. In fact, a friend pointed out to me that in the United States, at least, we have the highest birth rate in end of August, early September. I didn't believe him, so I double-checked it, I Googled it, and it's true. In the United States, we have the most births in late August, early September, which means most people are being conceived around Christmas time, right? It is a very sexy time of year. I want for you to have a very sexy Christmas. So I'm going to offer you 12 sexy Christmas tips. These are all very simple and easy things that you and your spouse can do to make this season just a little bit brighter and a little bit nicer, a little bit more intimate and a little bit more close. Now, before I begin, I got a great message on Instagram the other day. It's like, Dan, why do you talk about sex so much when you're all about strengthening marriages? And that was a fantastic question. It really took me back and made me think about this. Now, I am 100% for stronger marriages. That's the purpose. We call this get your marriage on, of course. And I believe sex is such a beautiful, wonderful, meaningful way to strengthen a marriage. In fact, sex is one of the very few things that makes a marriage relationship different than other relationships you have. I also know from my own personal experience and those that I coach that sex is often a very difficult pain point in a relationship. And there aren't a lot of great wholesome resources out there to help couples really navigate and figure out sex and marriage. Now, when sex is all about getting off or using another person for an orgasm, what I refer to as stage 1 sex, or stage 2 sex is when it's about managing another person's feelings. I'll give in so he doesn't become angry, or it's been a while, I feel guilty, I should initiate, because that's what a dutiful spouse does. Like those kinds of things, those are stage 2. When sex is framed in that area, then it's too much about the sex, and it's not about closeness and intimacy. Where stage 3 sex, in my mind, is really about living in a way that's about celebrating the other person. It's about living orgasmically instead of just pursuing orgasms. It's about the tenderness and closeness, the intimacy, the fun, the passion, the desire, letting all those things run and lighten the marriage. They give life to the marriage. They put a pep in your step and a smile on your face. That's why I think this is like the part of the marriage that's like the lifeblood. This is the unique part of the marriage relationship that infuses life and joy into everyday living, that makes living worth living with your spouse. That being said, let's jump into 12 sexy Christmas tips that I have for you. All right, tip number 1 is to relax and have a good time during sex. So many couples during sex are so caught up on, is he going to come too early? Or he's probably thinking, am I going to come too early or too late? Or is she having a good time? And you're so much in your head and you're thinking about past performance issues and whatever. That might be your case. I just want to say relax and just have fun. Who cares if you come or not? Who cares if she has only 1 orgasm or 10 orgasms or no orgasms? It's really about, can you relax and just have fun together? Can you laugh together and enjoy this moment together and just really have fun with each other and enjoy being embodied and just love on each other. Make love to every square inch of each other during your sexual encounter. Just make it about having fun and relax while doing it. When you're more relaxed and having fun in sex, it unlocks so much more joy and so much more meaning to make the sexual encounter really something that lasts beyond when you're done. It'll last for a day or two. That afterglow is going to last a lot longer when it's about something you both enjoy and want to participate in. Tip number 2 is to play a game. I'm a big fan of bedroom games because they add a lot of creativity. They break the monotony in sex. My favorite game is the Intimately Us app and its games. And for the month of December, we have this special game called Santa's Workshop. So you find it by opening the Intimately Us app, going to the play section and tapping the very first option at the top, which is the Intimately Us games. And a section will appear that says, choose your adventure. And one of the new adventures just for December is called Santa's Workshop. And all of the themes in the Santa's Workshop is revolved around 2 elves that are staying late at Santa's Workshop. Everyone else has gone home, and that special someone elf, she's still there or he's still there, and you hope some sparks happen that night. So as the evening unfolds in Santa's Workshop, you'll see what kind of happens in your bedroom. So games like that add a lot of fun. Now, there's a whole bunch of other games you can do to add a lot of fun to the bedroom. And that kind of ties into relaxing and having fun. So games are a great way to kind of ease into making lovemaking really fun around this time of year. For tip number 3, this works best when it's a surprise for your spouse. So what you're going to do is you're going to get completely naked without your spouse knowing and just only wear a tie if you're a man, or if you're a woman, you can wear a tie too, I guess, or an apron or something, and drape a hand towel around your arm. And then you're going to greet your spouse as he or she walks in the bedroom and say, hello, I'm Alfred or Anna, And I'll be your personal servant or maid this evening, and you can do your best accent. And it'd be a really fun way to surprise your spouse and just give them a 5-star service at your exquisite and very exclusive resort. It can be a massage. It can be whatever it is that they want that evening. But that was a really fun way to play. Can you just get naked and come out, as a surprise, wearing nothing but a smile and a tie or an apron? Tip number 4 is to schedule some time away, even if it's just one night. And after you spend dinner and a movie, like how much a date night costs, you can probably get a hotel room for about the same price. Did you know that? Anyway, schedule some time away, even if it's just one night. And as a bonus, why not make that scheduled time away our upcoming marriage retreat in March in St. George, Utah? Be a great way to really boost your marriage. Some time away does miracles and wonders for a lot of marriages because you get to relax. You don't have to worry about your regular things. You're kind of in a new surrounding, which gives you more openness to novelty and curiosity and exploring each other. It's also a great time to talk and talk deeply without distractions. I'm a big fan of scheduling time away. In fact, as you plan for 2024, I challenge you to see if you can get away for at least one night, maybe 2 nights. Get away 3 or 4 times a year, at least one night a quarter. And if you can, make a week-long vacation together. For those of you with young children at home still, like I do, this is a challenge, but it's a challenge worth taking on. See if you're up for it. It will really do wonders for your marriage. Tip number 5 is to make out and kiss, because making out and kissing is so underrated. We forget how good it feels just to have a hot, steamy, passionate makeout session. If you want a good prompt for this, go to the store and get some mistletoe and hang it in your room. Or just enjoy just a steamy makeout session on the couch. Tip number 6. I got this idea from my friend Tammy Hill's book called Replenish. It's a fantastic book if you're looking for your next sex book read. She has this activity in there she calls Find the Soap. And how this works is you fill up a bathtub with bubble bath. And you want it to be, lots of bubbles in there. And you also get a new bar of soap. Now, both of you get in the relaxing bath, and one of you is going to drop the soap into the water. And the other person has to feel around in the water looking for the soap. And while they're looking for the soap, they're probably going to bump into other things, underwater too. Anyway, once they find the soap, they wash a part of their spouse's body of their choosing and can talk about what you love and appreciate about him or her or his or her body. And then it's the other person's turn to drop the soap and make the other person go find it. Thought that was a fun, sexy game to play. Especially the idea of a relaxing, warm bath when it's cold outside just sounds very romantic. Speaking of romance, that's tip number 7. We love the Christmas rom-coms, don't we? There's so much fun around this time of season with movies that are Christmas themed but infused with lots of romance. So why not schedule a romance movie night or a marathon if you're up for it? And bonus tips, if you can do this in bed, holding a laptop or an iPad to watch the movie and get undressed as much as you would like. Naked movie nights are a fantastic way to make things steamy and fun in the bedroom while enjoying a romantic movie. Number 8 is to try some Christmas-themed sex positions. And I have a reel about this on my Instagram if you want to go check that to view those. But what you can do is take a sex position that you see in the Intimately Us app and add your own twist or spin to it to make it Christmassy. For example, there is a sex position in the app called the North Pole. Now, it's an oral sex on him position, but you can see how you can make, you can twist that, make it kind of fun. It's the North Pole sex position. You can also reverse it and do a South Pole or a South Face position, which is oral sex on her. You can have her go for a sleigh ride, which might be cowgirl or reverse cowgirl, or her, sitting on him, or sitting on Santa's lap, which is like a lap dance style position, and make that really sexy. You can find all of these sex positions. Many of them are free. And you can also upgrade to unlock all of them. They're in the Intimately Us app under the Discover section. And it's a fantastic resource to add a lot of fun and spice and heat to the bedroom. Tip number 9 is to write a sexy story together. Now, how this might work is you might use a Google Doc, something that's kind of online and shareable, a document you can both edit, whether you're sitting side by side together or while you're apart. And how it works is you're going to take turns adding a line or a paragraph, and you're going to both write a story. If you want a fun prompt, you can start at the very beginning of the story and say, "'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, ... See if you can figure out what comes next, and take turns writing this sexy, steamy, hot story together and see what happens. Tip number 10 is I call desserts on me. You know all those holiday treats that we accumulate during the season? These are the cookies and treats that neighbors give you and you have leftovers from your own cookies that you made. Well, why not create a little buffet, a little assortment of these treats, bring them into the bedroom, shower first or get clean first, and then enjoy eating them off of each other's bodies. You can also add some fresh fruit, some whipping cream, and just make this a really fun way to play together. It's a very sexy way to enjoy the treats. I mean, you're going to eat them anyway. Might as well eat them in a very provocative, enjoyable, sexy fashion. Tip number 11 is to play a stripping game. Now, you can take your favorite 2-player card game, board game, or trivia game. Some of our favorites are like Skip Boat, Uno, and so on. And you can take any game and you can convert it into a stripping game. Like if one person wins a point, the other person has to remove an item of clothing. You can make this strip poker, however you want to play this game. Anyway, stripping games are a really fun foreplay because you take off one item of clothing at a time. It kind of prolongs the anticipation for what's going to happen next. It also adds a little element of competitiveness, which for a lot of people makes it even more fun. If you want a completely different experience, in the Intimately Us app, we also have a game called Battle Strip, and you sync your phones together and you play a stripping game that way. So, play a stripping game. Take turns stripping and just enjoy the fun and anticipation that comes with that. My last tip number 12, is to dance together. Turn on some of your favorite music. Slow things down. Light some candles, or if you have some, twinkle lights, or if you can dim the lights in your room. Create an ambience that is about romance and enjoy a sweet evening of closeness and intimacy. At our last marriage retreat in Texas, we did a dance night and we brought in dance instructors. And they taught us how intimate dance can be. It's not about one person dominating the other. It's really a yin and a yang. It's a masculine and feminine energy play. There's so much that can be communicated in close romantic dance. For you, if you may not think you're much of a dancer, no big deal. You can always go to YouTube and find fantastic dance instruction there. I hope you've enjoyed these 12 sexy tips. Now, there's many, many more that we could offer, but here's some 12 fun ways for you to keep the spark alive in your marriage, to keep that pep in your step, that smile on your face, and keep the sky blue and the grass green, even in the wintertime. Now, I am grateful that you listened to this podcast. I just want to leave you with this final message from my heart about Christmas. The heart of Christmas is Jesus Christ. He is the real deal. And He is the light and the life of the world. And He is the example we should all follow. I also believe Jesus has the power to save every single one of us. And by save, I mean He can mend us. He can make us better than we are now. And He specializes in miracles, even in doing the impossible. He's an expert at making the unfixable fixable, the difficult things better. And I hope you can turn to Him and lean on Him and celebrate Him this Christmas season. Because the light and spirit of Christ is the foundation for the light and spirit of joy and connection in your marriage. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful 2024. We have one last podcast for this year, but as we plan ahead, I hope you and your spouse have a fantastic holiday weekend, and that you're planning a very romantic and intimate 2024 together. And I hope to be a part of that going forward with you. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you're interested in accelerating growth in your marriage, either sexually, emotionally, or spiritually, I want to invite you to work with me in my affordable coaching program called Next Level. More information about Next Level and my fun and sexy apps for couples are available at getyourmarriageon.com. Please also don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And be sure to tell your married friends. I promise, they will thank you for life. Now go get your marriage on.